What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. I'm just going to run through the topics that we're going to cover today. Obviously, we're going to cover Spurs, United. We're going to talk Newcastle City and Alex's team dropping points. No Rodri, no 3 points, just one of them. We're going to talk Ipswich Villa. And just, because, Lloyd's team had a chance to go top of the league and they blew it. And also with the Newcastle City, let's discuss that never a pen situation that Newcastle got a pen in that game. Southampton, Bournemouth. Sorry, Lee. Lee is apparently on the same. I have to talk Lee off the same ledge that I'm trying to jump off. There's not enough room for both of us on the same ledge. Just could you give me room to swan dive, bro? Please. We'll talk Champions League. We'll talk Arsenal corners. We'll talk Arsenal PSG in the Champions League. We'll talk Gary O'Neill, Ten Hag, and you said Russell Martin, Lee. Which one of them is going to get taken down to that basement in the movie Goodfellas and get the Joe Pesci character treatment in the back of the head first this season? And Liverpool is leading the league. And we talked about, did I mention Chelsea and Cole Palmer? It's just, Neil is here. We haven't seen him in a minute. Stand-up comic, Chelsea fan. You can see him wearing his Chelsea shirt now. Only if you're listening to the podcast can you see him wearing a Chelsea shirt. And so what's up? It's good to have you back, and you must be elated.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's
not about
it's
Chelsea,
been a
but
rough
about being on
time.
the podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, I feel like I almost have my weekly or monthly podcast with you when we get on the phone.
Yeah.
So I know where you've been at.
Yeah, we text it out.
Yeah,
or we
yeah.
get on the phone.
Yeah.
We like I said, we got Alex Villa, stand-up comic, City fan. Now he knows what it feels like to drop points. And we also when Martin's on, this week we had a derby, a podcast derby, Spurs versus United. Even though it wasn't much of us versus them, it was more them all over us. So we'll talk about that. And we got Lee Hudson, Southampton fan. Like I said, Lee, this ledge ain't big enough for both of us. So just relax. You're new to this league. You know what I mean? What should we all discuss first, man? We got so much shit to talk about.
Well, it's only just for the honor of Neil being here for a long time. I think he wants to talk Chelsea.
Yeah, let's do that, because I don't know why I'm happy for Chelsea. It's a good thing. I like good football. And after the crazy, last few years of Chelsea switching ownerships, the formula for spending money, which looks haywire, I'm actually happy for y'all. And Cole Palmer is just such a good person. It feels like somebody you could root for, just period, even if he's not on your team, just the way he plays. He's a true baller. So just tell me about how you feel about Chelsea, Cole Palmer, Ndweke, your bench that's deeper than a gold mine in Africa. You won again this weekend. You showed out. How are you feeling?
I've decided with this current ownership that I'm not gonna the kind of things that they've been on, that I'm not gonna give them any more money and not buy a jersey. And then this fucking guy, Cole Palmer, is trying his hardest to make me change my mind. So yeah, I have a few tabs open where I'm looking at the Chelsea Megastore, trying to see if I can get a Palmer jersey. But yeah, I mean, it's you know how the last couple of years have been, right? So it's just a pleasure getting up in the morning and not dreading. Hey, Martin.
Who is here? That means Chelsea are playing better, huh?
He's not here for the same reason you're here, all right?
My reason is him being back in the podcast. My reason.
You had no idea he was coming.
I was hoping it wouldn't coincide with the same day that Spurs are so good, but it's happened. No, so it's good to like just watch Chelsea games without a lot of stress. And I'm just like enjoying watching the team because it's still more or less the same team as last season, even though we made a lot of signings this season. And I really hated the transfer window. I thought we got a lot of things wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But the bulk of the folks that we bought last season are pretty much carrying the team this season too. And I think one of the great things about Enzo Maresca is, and this is the guy who like no Chelsea fan even knew who he was. I think Lee would probably be the only person who knew what Enzo Maresca been up to, because he was their main rival in the championship. But for a guy who's only, his bio, if he had like an Instagram profile, would have been Diet Pep. Yeah, that's the only thing that we knew of him. That he used to put out cones for Guardiola. He's part of the same same family of coaching ideology, and that really bothered me because I feel like coming into a team like Chelsea and being so wedded to one certain ideology would be a recipe for disaster. So I think it's been really good to see that the fact that he has been adaptable. He hasn't hesitated in mixing it up. He's seen this team that had a lot of success last season playing almost a transition game under Pochettino. And he's been like, hey, you guys are good at that? All right, let's do this. Jackson, Palmer, Madueke, you guys have speed. Like we got Sancho in. You guys have speed. You want to play on the counter? Play on the counter. If the game suits you, an opponent has a high line like Brighton. Yeah, play on the counter. Go for it. And he's not trying to restrict people, because I feel like it's somebody like Cole Palmer, if he had played under Guardiola, it would have been pretty restrictive. But Maresca has seen what he has on his hands, and he's not being hesitant in mixing it up. He still plays possession heavy in certain games, in certain periods of games, but depending on who we are playing, what's not working in the game, he's totally okay with the players making decisions for themselves, which historically isn't something the Guardiola style of coaching is known for. So, and again, I'm saying all these because that was literally what was listed on the box when it came to Maresca. We didn't know a whole lot of him. So yeah, it's been great to see, and the consistency with the lineups. At least I think 10 out of 11, like of the starting 11, I think 10 players have at least like solidified their positions. It's only the second center back. I don't think Fofana's had a great start to the season. So I think it's still up between him and Dawson. But everybody else is pretty much, even Sancho now, he's locked down that left wing position. Mudrik's nowhere to be seen. Like he's not even getting minutes in midweek in the versus who do you play? We played some low league team
in the Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup.
You guys got scored 5 or something like that.
Brownlee. Why can't I remember
Brownlee or something like that?
No, not Barnsley.
No, not Brownlee. Brownlee or something like that.
Brownlee? Was it?
What was it, Lee?
Barrow. It was Barrow.
I knew it was something with a B.
Yeah, Barrow. So yeah, like Mudryk can't even start against them because we have. Actually, he did start, but he didn't have a good first half, and then he got an assist in the second half. So it's the point is like Maresca has ticked a lot of the boxes that you'd want to see from a new manager. I'm still not getting carried away. I still feel top 4 is what should be our aim, and I think it's going to be between us and Villa for that final spot.
What about Newcastle?
Just like every other season, I want to see 19 games. I want to see us play every opponent at least once, because I feel like right now the table kind of lies, and that holds for like everybody on the table. So
even for United,
holds for United. I think it holds for Southampton too. So because the schedule can be a little. I think both Liverpool and Chelsea have had a good schedules so far. You just had one tough game, and let's see where we go from here.
I don't think Liverpool has had any tough games.
They
You
had
calling you calling
yeah.
the game against us their tough game. You
United away, man.
all right. I would just want to jump on this Chelsea praise because I text you when their games are on and they're just super
Yeah.
exciting. You know,
I feel like you're almost like doing a welfare check on me. Like, is he still up at 5:30 in the morning
yeah,
watching Chelsea?
that's how I know you're living a healthy lifestyle when you're not getting any sleep and you're waking up early in the morning to check out Chelsea. And if you're not doing that, I'm worried about you. You know what I'm saying? But I just it's just the type of football you love, and to have the preseason, off season that you guys had to go to the difference of the display on the pitch is just night and day. And I feel like you rope-a-dope the whole Premier League with your preseason and your acquisitions because I didn't even believe in Neto like everybody else did. And then if a guy like Sancho, who's kind of failed at United, could come there and just say, "Move over, Neto. This is my spot," then that's how everybody's just open to just anything. Sometimes, no matter if you're a professional football player who said that's a good signing. Like they didn't even need a Sancho really. But this Sancho that showed up at Chelsea is just, I watched him create a penalty and get an assist and just playing on the front foot and passing people, which he wasn't doing at United. And I want him to do good. And it's tough to see him do good and then United do bad, but it just is what it is. But that Cole Palmer free kick, you're not supposed to take a free kick from that far. That's just defying the laws of physics. Like, so I'm just glad England wise that, and Madueke, I like him too, even though I can't say his name. I think he's dope as shit. He's as hard to guard as it is to say his name. So good luck to defenders out there. And just your midfield. I don't even think you're playing your two best midfielders. The only reason why you're playing those two midfielders is because they cost the most. And that's the only reason why they're on the pitch. And I like that you said, I want to hear from a Chelsea fan first, that this coach did not change much, which is the sign of a good coach. But the pundits, they're giving him all the credit, how he just got to this team and figured it out fast. No, Pochettino had a good year last year and just happened to get fired. He and this guy, what you needed to do was like decide who your central defenders were going to be. And he's like, all right, it's going to be Fofana, who's been injured, who you bought and hasn't got a chance to like settle in, and he's getting a chance now. And it's Colwell. And then Tosin is the other one. So it's between Tosin, like you said, and Colwell.
Tosin and Fofana. I think Colwell's been one of our best players, so he's going to keep that spot.
Oh yeah, Tosin and
he's the lefty, isn't he, as well?
Yeah. And right. That's the crazy thing. Like, so.
And then you got what's his name back this game, Gusto.
Yeah. He is back. But, so here's the thing, like, I said, like, he's been prepared to like take the things that worked from the previous year, but the few things that definitely did work, he's been very quick to shut them off too. Like Pochettino spent almost half the season trying to play Colwell at left back. No clue why, and Chilwell as a left winger. And Pochettino, Maresca has been like, no, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna do those unforced errors. And I didn't have a lot of faith in Cucurella, that. But yeah, so far he's been good. Like, and the backup we got to him, Viega, again, somebody who nobody knew about. He's almost like another shithouse. Like, how Cucurella is a little bit of a shithouse. Vega is another kind of like a shithouse, and he's a little bit more widey, taller. So hopefully he can, grow into his body like you would expect defenders to do. But
I think the Euros did you a huge favor with Cucurella.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like, I think it was a matter of a half hour or so. Like, he would have gone.
That's like divine intervention, because Cucurella wasn't even supposed to start in the Euros. Their Spanish player that was in his position got injured. So then he shows out in the Euros, and then he gets to come back to Chelsea, and like you can't not play the guy that just won the Euros, and he's like filling in that position really well. I guess the only thing I wanted to say defensively, what was I wanted to say? I just wanted to say
Bobby Sanchez?
Bobby Sanchez. I mean, you mean Jackson, Nicholas
No, no,
Jackson,
no. No,
Bobby
no, no.
Sanchez. What
Robert
about
Sanchez, the
goalkeeper?
goalkeeper.
I think you should give him a chance.
I mean, we don't have a choice. The guy who's our backup keeper is, I don't even know where he came from. Like, there's clearly a difference in pedigree. And that's notwithstanding the fact that Sanchez himself doesn't have a lot of pedigree. So I think we're stuck with him, at least for now. And I think he's been okay in terms of shot stopping and ball playing. When you think of actual ball playing in terms of like getting passes out into midfield, into the wingers, it's just that he does it so often and he takes so many risks with his shot passing.
Mhm.
And he has this one bozo moment minimum every game. And this time he had two.
He'll work out, but I don't blame those moments on him. You guys, this is what I wanted to say. You guys have issues playing out the back, and teams have to. So this season, you may or may not finish top four, but next season, by a season of like learning to play out the back, because you played Brighton, and Brighton was like, we can get goals if we pressure them, and they forced two mistakes, but to pressure people, you have to play a high line, and you're like, all right, you might make us make mistake, but we're gonna victimize your high line because you're trying to get goals from making us create mistakes. So I just like that game of chicken y'all played, and you guys like Cole Palmer had 4 goals in the first half. He missed 3, and in the second half, he missed 2 to 3 more clear-cut chances. So him alone could have had 10 versus Brighton. And I'm glad Brighton got their ass beat too, because everybody's talking about this Brighton coach is this good. That guy, Brighton's been lucky to me the whole season. So it was good to see them get their ass whooped.
The thing with Cole Palmer is that he's such a joy. He's almost like a little bit of a throwback. Like he doesn't take pressure. Like, ever since Hazard left, we won the Champions League and we had teams that it was really fun to watch. But you could see like everybody's out there to prove something, and there's a general air of heaviness and pressure in the team. Palmer comes in, he takes all of that away. I think there's pressure and heaviness around the rest of the team even now, but Palmer is like he's just not cut from the same cloth. He plays as if he's playing in his academy days. It just doesn't, nothing phases him. And it's so rare to find somebody who he's effective in creating and goal scoring at a very high level equally. Like he scored 4 goals, which is a record in the Premier League in the first half. But the best thing he did in the entire game didn't even account for a goal. The entire level, like 11 Brighton players behind the ball, and they're playing kind of like in a low block. At one point in the game, and it felt like we were just passing the ball around, trying to wind down, the minutes. And suddenly, out of nowhere, the Brighton line comes a little bit in, and Palmer puts a long ball in behind, and that was the shot that Jackson took, and Lewis Dunk saved off the line. So it's just such a pleasure, like watching Palmer. And like I remember, like if you guys remember, like last season when Haaland was going crazy, I had said like the rest of the league somebody should try and get Mbappe, because otherwise there's no point trying to be in this league with this, this insane kind of a robot. There's no point even trying to compete. I feel we might have found a robot. So I know we are not going to compete for the league this season, but whenever we do, like having somebody like Palmer can at least like, get you up to that level of what Haaland is doing for City.
Anybody else want to talk about Cole Palmer or Chelsea?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, it's better, but why does it take to buy 40 players to finally find 5 decent ones? I mean, the fact that Chelsea is getting away with abruptly and in most unprofessional fashion breaking the fair play rules, they pretty much make fun of all the fair play rules that exist. They pretty much make UEFA look stupid in front of the entire world, because this is absolutely appalling that a team like the club like Everton is being bullied, and Chelsea is being they let Chelsea do what Chelsea does. Of course, if you buy 40 players, you find 5 decent ones, and you get lucky once out of 40. You know, they got lucky with Palmer. Palmer is a great player. City should have never sold him. But I still, my gut feeling is telling me that as long as Ted Bolly is in charge of this football club, Chelsea will not win anything. And they will have very good moments because, like I said, they have a lot of quality players. They wasted a lot of quality players, including Sterling. They wasted a lot of quality players in the last couple of years. But yeah, they have some really fun players. But what's the cost? You have to ask yourself, what is the cost of putting this team together? What is the cost, both psychologically, financially?
We know what's the cost. It's 1.3 billion.
In all possible levels. I think it's disgusting what they did in the last 2 years. They have something now to work with, but how they got to this point, it's like a P. Diddy way.
Wow, that's Martin.
I totally agree with Martin. The league should come down hard on Chelsea, get rid of these owners, and get Abramovich back.
But you know that you guys sold enough that your net sale is not that. You guys are pretty solid. Like
you
sold
really 700 million worth of players.
And that's what people don't realize, that you actually are within the bounds. You know what I mean? So
I still don't know
the bounds
that,
because
it's just crazy.
How is the balance working? You know, like
no, they are, because they're giving 10-year contracts to players. So like if your player is worth 100 million, you're only paying 10 million a year. So if they're structuring contracts like baseball kind of. So it all works out perfectly if the players are good. But if you get like, for example, Sterling, if Sterling has a contract for 6 more years, so you gotta find a way to have somebody taken from you, or you have to pay him for 6 more years. You know?
Yeah,
Martin, let me just say this: you have to trust Alex on this, because he's a fan of a criminal organization, and they know how to, like, shuffle money around.
No, but
so if he says that Chelsea's good, they're good.
Chelsea's good. We're a smart one. In Chelsea, it might be I think like 3 years from now, we'll see if there was those moves were smart. So far they look good because the salaries are not that bad. Like besides Sterling, besides Modric and stuff, they're good salaries. So you can before inflation or salaries continue going higher, these guys got smarter and like, let's give him a contract to Cole Palmer 2042. I think that's his contract ends or something like that. So it's smart on them, but it pisses me off basically seeing all these Chelsea ex-City players like Cole Palmer, Sancho, Lavia, Tosin, Maresca, doing well. Because I do like him all individually, but together in Chelsea, I don't like him. Like I like them shining individually, but all together.
Alex, this is all payback for De Bruyne.
Yeah, see, like it hasn't happened to us. I guess it's like the first time that we're seeing our players being like, everybody questioning, how come you let the guy go? How come you let the guy go? And the answer at the time is like,
sorry.
Oh yeah, the answer at the time was simply, we have De Bruyne. We have like and he wanted to go, and I don't like when Guardiola just lets people, if you don't want to be at City, go anywhere. I do feel like he probably like the ownership to be more, hey man, I know you're telling this guy he can go, but we don't want him leaving. Let's send him in loan.
Well,
yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. I really like and respected Chelsea in the 90s. I really like that team with Ruud Gullit, Gianluca Vialli. They had like nice fan base, and they played attractive football, sexy football, so-called. But then they had a Russian oligarch as their owner. That flipped the club for me personally. And now they have,
because you're Polish.
And now they have a cheater, and they're cheaters. They have a cheater, and they are cheaters at the helm of the club. They're cheating the entire football world. It's impossible. It doesn't add up. No matter how you put the numbers together. They used like hotels as a part of equity to prove that they sold some hotels, and that evens up.
Not some hotels that we own. Sold it to ourselves.
Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't be involved in football. That's not football. That's not football.
Your Spurs are funded by a tax avoider.
To pay Peter.
Huh?
Spurs are funded by a tax avoider.
No, I understand, but you can't compare. It's like what they got away with. It's impossible to get away with. If City gets punished and Chelsea doesn't get punished, I would feel very mad if I was you.
Chelsea don't have any charges, so I don't. Good luck.
I'm totally on board with Martin asking these owners to leave because I don't like them either. You know?
He's not asking them to leave. If they're not going to just leave, Chelsea's in trouble anyway. But something Abramovich did with Hazard's pay. So Hazard's illegal dealings, like the extra pay that they paid Hazard's manager on the side, which the Chelsea owners, new ones, they were too honest and they admitted it. To the board that they're gonna get caught up on that too. So we'll see how that plays out. Let's go to
Chelsea. I wish Chelsea all the best. I don't like this owner particularly. I hope it's like third time is the charm, and the next owner will be the one that I would like and I respect. But this one I do not, unfortunately. Yeah.
I don't believe you, Martin.
He lives down the street, Martin. He's your neighbor.
Let's talk about the podcast derby, Spurs versus Man United. Martin, you go first, fam. Go ahead. Let it all out. Congrats.
I mean, we talked about it before the game, you know. That's why I went to church, because I didn't believe. I felt like I needed extra support from above. I didn't believe that we can get the result. And to be quite honest with you, for us, it doesn't really change that much, unless it's a beginning of some good trend. That now we're gonna win, you know, a few games in a row and compete for top 4. I think we started the season slow. I think we were an average team, you know, and this is the first game where everything clicked, like the way that he wants to play us. And but at the other end, Man U played to our hands, you know, so I don't know how viable it is moving forward. It was a very, very good game from Tottenham, the best game of the season. We played the way we wanted to play, but also I think part of it is because Man United kind of let us play the game we wanted to play. And if moving forward that works, great. But like before that game, I wasn't very happy with our season, and now I'm a little bit. It looks a little bit better, but I'm staying humble. I think top 4, of course, has to be the goal, but we have to show consistently that we can play at that level. You know, so far we haven't, and if that's the start, like I said, if that's the start of the new Tottenham, great. If it's just a fluke, then it's just a fluke.
Let me give Tottenham some praise. Like, Tottenham fans have been killing Tottenham for some reason. Like, I feel like your best game wasn't even against us. It was against Newcastle. You dominated them, but they just caught you on a counter, which, you know, the way you play, you're susceptible to it, you know, but that Newcastle's a better team, and the way you dominated them, a better team, is, you know, it's just too bad you didn't get the points for it. And I think if you'd had the points from that game, plus the points that you have so far, you'd have more confidence, period, in Spurs. But I don't even really have much to say. Like, here's the positives. Bruno was that a straight red?
Mm-hmm.
So we won't see him for 3 games, and he needed a rest. He plays internationally. He plays all the games, and I think it's a good time for us to explore Xerxes as a 10. And who else do we have? And just Ericsson as a 10, or sometimes Ahmad in these next 3 games that he's going to be out in the league. Because he's the captain, it's hard to like not play Bruno. But Bruno needs to be rested, and we need to find the rest replacement for Bruno in these next 3 games that he's suspended for in the league. I feel like the lot, even though that was a great run by Van de Ven, and I've always rated Van de Ven, I've always praised him to you guys. I just think that dude is exceptional. He's the fastest man in Premier League history since they started keeping records of speed, and I don't even think that there was anybody faster before that. Like, just forget it. This dude is got a turbo boost button somewhere on his back. And so great run, but the lot did not follow Brendan into the box, and he's even more responsible for that goal than anybody else, even though Garnacho has to show more awareness about where the defender is, and him and Rashford, that didn't even have to be a problem in the first place. But the problem with Delata is he's played so many games. He's played left back and right back. He's one of the only players on the team that hasn't had a break and he's played in all 3 competitions that we played in, or maybe 4, and in all like all 90 minutes. So I think he's a little tired. That's just not an excuse. Plus, but besides that, we just didn't follow orders. We didn't press. We had no courage with the ball, and we had no courage without the ball. Sometimes it's harder to have courage with the ball because you're being caged in and you're being forced into making mistakes. But I feel like there is no excuse for courage without the ball. Without the ball, you can like at least tackle somebody. You know what I mean? You could at least run. You could do stuff. So I don't think there's an excuse for that. So I don't know what's going to happen with Ten Hag after this. It's, the problem is we had the stats for all the games of the season to see that the team was actually going in a good direction, even though we didn't have the wins. But because we didn't get those wins and we lost in this game, now those stats don't really mean anything.
Ian, I can give you one stat. You want to hear one stat?
But yeah, 1 second. Go ahead. Tell me your stat.
I'll just give you one stat so you can address it. Guess how many goals you scored at home in the Premier League this whole season?
Probably none.
One. In the first game.
So
Against Fulham.
I like how people, like even the pundits, they're like, at least Postecoglou has a style of play. And it's like, and they're talking about all these other places or teams or new coaches. But we got, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about how bad stats are. You can keep your style of play as long as we got trophies. And Ten Hag been to 3 finals in 2 seasons. Your coach can't say that, and a lot of coaches can't say that. So that's my stat. Now, I'm not saying he don't gotta go, but this first season was, we finished 3rd and we went to 2 finals. Second season we had mad injuries and we finished, all our stats were bad, but we still won a trophy. This season, I feel like he has the players and he's not doing as good. Maybe we just have a counter-attacking team and we need to just play that type of football because that's what we were best in the first season. Maybe this aggressive, attacking, possessive game we're trying to do is not working for us. I don't know. But what I do know is we have a better team now because Ineos came in and got us some depth. And even if we fire Ten Hag, we just need a better coach that can motivate these players. Like we have, I said it in the games that we even won. We don't got the killer instinct. And if we had that killer instinct, we would have beaten Brighton. We would have beaten Fulham by more. We would have beaten 20. You know what I'm saying? There's games that we tied or we won by just a few goals. We would have murdered those teams so that this loss would have saved Ten Hag's job. So we need a motivational coach who's also tactical that can motivate these players. So it may or may not be Ten Hag any longer, but we just need to find a good coach because I think our team and personnel-wise, we're in a better place. So that's all I got to say.
Can you try to find him after the City game? I just want to play like Ten Hag, and then you guys can go. Just keep him for the City game.
No.
Do it over Christmas. Give everybody a chance.
He might actually do well against City. He did well in the past against City a couple of times. Yeah, but the problem with Ten Hag and Man U, and here's the problem. Of course, he won more than the Spurs did, but it's different standards. You know, for teams like Man U, Real Madrid, Barcelona, there are different standards. And 11 years now, I think 10 or 11 years without winning the league, that's bad. Ten Hag, 3 years, and there's not 3 years.
This is the 6th game of the 3rd year.
One thing is, I think there was a story, I think in Daily Mail, Oliver Holt wrote that winning meaningless trophies doesn't matter that he did a good job.
All these trophies are meaningless now. A trophy that you need to complete.
Secondary trophy.
A trophy. So the treble is nothing because these are trophies that help make the treble.
I mean, those are secondary trophies. Every trophy matters, but those are secondary trophies. Man U has to compete for the
Yo,
title.
you from Spurs, bro. You haven't won any trophy.
I
So
know, but we're different.
no trophy
like I said,
is
different
meaningless.
standards. Different standards for Spurs.
Ian, that's because
We're a smaller team. We're a
these are
smaller
all
football
meaningless
club.
But bro,
trophies.
Let me finish my point.
But what about finishing third?
Well, let me finish my point. So he's not closer to winning the title. There's no cohesiveness within the team, and I think the biggest problem is that I don't think his message gets to the players. I don't think they follow him. I don't think they believe in him. I think a lot of players regressed under him, especially Rashford, who reminds me of Deli Alli. He reminds me, his career trajectory reminds me of Deli Alli. And that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. And he was a dominant player. He was starting for England when England almost won the Euros. He was one of the stars of the team. And right now,
he also didn't start for England when they almost won the Euros again.
But he started some games. He started some games of that team. I don't think he started in the final, but
the last Euros,
it's an unfair comparison.
Yeah.
Why is it
Rashford's maintained a top-end Premier League career way longer than Ali did. Ali did like 2 seasons.
No, he did like 4
Rashford's had up and down form, but he's not fallen off like Deli Alli has.
He has fallen off last 2 years. He has fallen off.
Yes.
Did he disappear to another country and then not have a contract?
That can happen next.
No, it's not a fair comparison.
I'm saying a trajectory. It reminds me of the trajectory, you know. So hopefully that's
it
not
doesn't at all for me. Rashford's been at playing for a top club and performing to a certain level for way longer than Ali ever did. Ali was a flash in the pan for you guys.
Maybe 2 years longer. Deli Alli was
how many top club seasons did Deli Alli have?
Deli Alli was great between 2014 and 2018,
and 2015.
Rashford was good between 2016 and 2021.
1 season really, 2 max for Ali.
No, he had 4 very good seasons. 4 very good seasons. Up until the pandemic, since the pandemic, he's been dog shit. But up until pandemic, he was solid. Where Rashford, like a season or 2 seasons longer. Yeah, true. Facts. Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is Ten Hag will probably be fired after the Aston Villa game because I don't see them winning at Aston Villa. So he probably will get fired. But yeah, I mean, it's his message doesn't hit the team, in my opinion. You look at Sancho at Chelsea, it looks like a different player. You know, I'm sure players are talking, they're friends, you know, especially if they're the same generation. I'm sure Cristiano Ronaldo had some players on speed dial, and he said what he had to say, and he's an icon and idol for
So you're saying there's sabotage?
I'm sure Sancho is talking to his friends that are at Man U, like saying, hey, this guy Ten Hag, you know, like I'm sorry you guys have to still, you know, play for him. I'm sure that's all happening. It's a part of football, you know. He doesn't seem to be a guy that players like, and that's, I think, his biggest mistake. And in the game against Tottenham, I think he's overall a good tactician. I think he's actually a good tactician, but I think in this particular game, his tactics were wrong.
I said it last week on a podcast that we should approach Spurs the way we played Man City in the FA Cup final, because you guys like to over pursue and press. And we shouldn't try to play our new style against you. But you know, he's at home. He wanted to show the progress of this new system that we're playing, and it ended up being a mistake. It's better if we just were a counter attacking team versus you guys. Either way, hey man, if he doesn't win the next 2 games, there's going to be an international break. And he'll probably get fired during that. Even if he wins the next 2 games, he still might get fired. Like this has gone kind of sour. And I'm like a big believer in Ten Hag, but it's a part of the sourness you can't get past after a certain point. So it just might be too late for him. But I feel like he'll go somewhere and be more of a success. It's just tough when every media outlet also is after you. It just adds unnecessary pressure to you and the players. Like I don't think the media, being attacked by the media every week, like that's something that doesn't happen to Man City. And Man City got charges. You know what I'm saying? Like Man United got to be the most attacked. Only Chelsea spiked during the last few postseason, especially the last one. But everybody's like hunting for your downfall. And there's a psychological thing to everything. Like our team definitely played with no killer instinct. I think we're definitely like affected in our heads, you know? Anybody else got anything to say about the podcast derby, Spurs versus?
But you say you're being attacked, but you're being attacked for football. Man City gives no reasons for anybody to attack them for their performance. They're performing every season. They're performing at the highest level. So nobody can question that. Nobody can question Guardiola.
Can I tell you like an attack? An attack is like it's the morning of the FA Cup final, and there's a story in the press that says Ten Hag will be fired no matter what the result of the game. Now, he's up against one of the greatest teams in Premier League history. He's the underdog. The results haven't been great. And for a story like that to come out, it ain't coming out to help him. It's coming out for his players to be like, on this great day, for them to fail. And that's one of the reasons why I disagree when you say his players don't play for him, because they did that day. And that was a tough day, bro. Like you no matter what you think about Ten Hag, where they fire him on that, for him to pull that off, not just because he had to play City, but because of that story. That's a crazy story, bro. And to win that day, that's why that win was so big, because he had to get his team past the psychological attack of that story. So anybody else?
He didn't defend himself, through his work, unfortunately, and that's at the end of the day, that's the verdict in football. If the way you can defend yourself is through results and through showing progress, and he hasn't shown progress, and that's a shame. He hasn't. And with Tottenham, the jury is still on. Postecoglou said before the season that he always wins trophies in the second season. We'll see. I also want to see progress. We were doing well last season, 5th, great. That was above expectations. So now I want to see 4th, and maybe winning a cup or getting to a cup final. I want to see progress too. You have to demand on your team to have progress. Chelsea's showing some progress finally.
What's progress to Spurs? Just out of curiosity.
We'll be finishing top 4. That will be progress from last season, and showing that building something for the future. Let's see if Solanke can be the solution. Let's see if Brennan Johnson can be a top player. Let's see all that. We know that Van der Ven can be. Can Romero play with him in the middle? I want to see all that.
You know what's funny? Like before the game. Sorry, just before the game on Sunday, I called to even though Martin wouldn't come over and watch the game, which would have been detrimental to Spurs' result, let me talk to him before the game to see if I can ruin the mojo. Just at least if I talk to him, maybe that will work. But I was still the one bigging up Spurs players to Martin before the game. I was like, Solanke's going to be fine. He just needs time to get in there. I was like, Brandon Johnson, Martin. These are players Martin did not believe in, and those are the players that scored. But I believe in Spurs more than you, fam.
I mean, I believe in them, but I want to see if they can reach the next level. They're good players. Let's see if they can be great players.
It's Spurs, so there's a limit to how great they're going to be.
No. Harry Kane became a world-class player at Spurs.
They never won anything.
Let's see if Solanke can become, a starter for England. Let's see if Brennan Johnson can become like the next great wing player. This season, he's playing better than Rashford. I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's not hard to say. Like Rashford, I don't want to bang on Rashford, but he is not playing for the badge, bro. He pulls out his tackles. He doesn't give full effort. Like he did step up a little bit yesterday after the goal. And even the first goal, it was because he stole the ball and then got it stolen from him. But I just can't defend him.
But I'll tell you, before we move on, but there are a couple of players on United that they regressed under Ten Hag, big time, especially Casemiro. I can't even recognize him as a player that I remember from Real Madrid. He's just so average.
People are definitely not improving, which that's the marker you look at. Like players should be improving on a steady basis. The way Pep improves people, the way Arteta improves people, the way Eddie Howe and the coach of Villa has improved players that we were like, those players are out after a few seasons and a few transfer windows. They're there now doing their thing. So, yeah. What were you
I
gonna
was
say?
just gonna say that I think like I mentioned this like to you and like in the podcast a couple times, but I mean I watch United games just because I'm hate watching them, right? I'm watching to basically I'm not really watching them, but even when I'm watching them, I'm like, why are these guys just letting the opposition just go through so easy? And it happened all the time. It happened. I mentioned it against Brighton. I was like, how is Brighton going back and forth with United? Why can they establish some kind of like, we're not gonna let you through? That happened against for Southampton for a little bit. Liverpool definitely happened, and yesterday same thing. And even with like less players, it continued kind of happening. So I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to fix that, or that's something that he's just he enjoys doing, like having his team kind of like just no one really. I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to fix it. I think like that team is just looks broken. Where any decent team just puts it's so easy to attack United, you know, like in even like smaller teams are getting so many shots. Yesterday, Onana looked fantastic yesterday. Normally, like when I see him, I was no, I was I he never impresses me. Yesterday, I was like, bro, he saved like 4 or 5 chances, like good chances that I was. How are you missing that? How are you not scoring that? Onana is not that good, but
Well,
he showed that he's pretty good.
well, he saved them against Werner, so let's not get carried away. I did think Onana was good with the ball at his feet yesterday and the game before. Like that, we were seeing the Onana that we wanted to see play with the ball. But yeah, I'll give him
So
credit
that
for those
he's
saves. He's
improving.
had a good
He's
season.
improving. He's like, but we
Yeah.
don't want him to be improving like that. You know, we want other like players in the field to improve.
I don't know why you're worried. You're good.
I just want him to. I want Ten Hag to stay, man, until the end of the season. That's what we want.
Yeah. I mean, hey, man, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Uh, I'm whatever on this. Uh, I'm not the only person on the podcast that's suicidal. So let's try to, let's hear let's let Lee get the therapy out. You played Bournemouth. They're not easy to play. I've watched them a few times this season. They don't go down easy. You played at them, and maybe they bought into the NBC broadcast of being told this is a derby, so that it's a Monday night game. We want people to watch it, so it's a derby. So how would you feel? And you're out there, and everybody say happy birthday to Lee. That was a disrespectful gift that Southampton gave him on his birthday.
Oh, happy
Happy
birthday.
birthday.
Thanks, guys.
Lee, I hope you weren't one of those who had to who's had to stay over at Bournemouth because of the trains getting cancelled.
No, I'm in Sarajevo right now.
Oh, okay.
Martin's old stomping ground.
My ex is living there now.
Nice. Oh.
Is she hot? This is my last night here, though. I went to watch a Bosnian League game yesterday, which was good fun. But yeah, I went to a bar tonight to watch. I made them put the Southampton game on.
All right.
Albeit with
the
Bosnian
balls
commentary.
of you.
It was a sports bar, so you know.
You didn't tell
I had
them
to
which
wait.
team you support, I
Hmm?
hope. You didn't tell them which team you support, I hope.
No, unfortunately, I did.
You told them you want to watch the Bournemouth game.
I mean, that was the only team I got to see. But,
oh shit!
I mean, we started this game. The manager's basically written his own sort of criticism before this game even started with the risks that he took with the starting lineup. So he played with 0 strikers for this game. He played Tyler Dibbling, the 18-year-old kid, as a false 9, and he put five strikers on the bench, 5, and 0 in the starting lineup. And before the game, well, after the game, he got asked about it, and he said, I felt we need to do something because we've not been scoring any goals. It's like, well, taking strikers out the team ain't going to help with that. But, you know, when I saw the team announced, I was willing to give it, I was like, maybe this is genius. You know, who knows? You know, Bournemouth aren't expecting this. We'll see what happens. And we started okay, but not even for as long as we did against Man United. For like the first 10 minutes, we put Bournemouth under some pressure. We pressed them. We had a couple of shots. But we just, the same as the United game where we concede 1 and then it just goes. Like, we just fell apart in that first half. And 3 goals is something that's so hard to come back from. I mean, the second half was an improvement. We came out, we got 1 goal back quite quickly, but then just didn't have the quality to push on and properly get back into it. And it's just killing us at the moment that we just don't have the quality. And also, I mean, the style of play is what got us here, but it's not necessarily working. There's so many times where we just look like we're itching to give the opposition a chance by overplaying at the back. Like, the purpose of playing out from the back has got to be to break the press and start getting at them in their half. And Bournemouth are pressing us high, so it's like, well, let's not keep playing in our half and playing into their press. We've got to play through the press, over the press, whatever we need to do. So it just feels like we're not adapting to how teams are coming at us at the moment, and we're sort of saying to the whole league, like, we're gonna play out from the back. We're gonna do it with differing levels of quality. So come press us and see what you get. Because it's frustrating to watch, but I don't know. Bournemouth away is not the easiest of games. They will take points off teams down there. I was hoping we could at least get a draw out of them, but not after that start. That first half just killed us. And then our fixtures coming up, they're a bit mixed, because we got this month, I think we got Arsenal and City. We got Arsenal next week.
Yeah.
But we've also got a couple of games where we need to get points, otherwise we are fucked. Let me have a look at these games. Yeah, so we got Arsenal, but then we got Leicester, then we got City, but then we got Everton, followed by Wolves. So it's like City and Arsenal is a write-off, but if we can't get anything out of Everton, Leicester, and Wolves, we're down.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, but shout out to Everton on getting their first win this weekend. They went to 15th. Now they're 16th. There's just 3 points, and they're like out of the relegation zone and like thriving in mediocrity.
I mean, there's like 4 teams now with 0 wins, right? So you just need to be better than one of them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of bad teams down there, but at the moment we're looking like one of the worst. So
actually, there's 6. I missed that. Ipswich actually, even without wins, are above Everton because they have 4 draws. So there's 3, 4, 5 teams without a win, and 2 teams with 1 win. So
I believe in Ipswich.
Ipswich have still had enough draws to count as a win almost.
Yeah.
Ipswich has one of the toughest schedules at the beginning of the season. They played Man City, they played Liverpool, and they just got a tie versus Villa. So their points or their drop points are like more valuable than like other teams.
They got Everton, Brentford, Leicester, and United. So that's pretty doable. They're probably gonna win all of them.
Here you go. But yeah, we'll see what happens, Lee. So you think you'll fire your dude?
No, I think the board are pretty locked in with him and they're backing him. But I mean, things change quickly in football, and he was very sort of dejected in the post-match interview. He looked a bit broken, so you never know how quickly things change. I think they'll stick with him for the moment. But that run of games of, like I say, Leicester, Everton, Wolves, if we can't beat any of them, if we still haven't got a win, I think that could be it. But I mean, by that point, it'll probably be beyond salvage anyway. So who knows? Another season of Championship football.
I mean,
let me say this, because sometimes it's warranted to fire a coach like with Ten Hag. That's like absolutely 100% deserved. But like, who does he have to work with? It's really not a very good team, like on paper, and when you watch it, it's just not a good enough team.
He spent over 100 million in the summer.
Damn.
Yeah, but what's missing? Because I don't see that much quality, really. Like, do you think you need like more veterans, maybe with the players who played in the Premier League, and maybe a take on loan, and like even a guy on the level of Rashford, maybe to take on loan, somebody like that. Oh. No, I mean, I would really. You need to, like the teams like Bournemouth.
Martin's trying to kill 2 birds with one stone.
It might. I know. I mean, he might thrive under less pressure, because look at
Yeah, we're
Sancho
all looking out for
thriving under
him.
less pressure at Chelsea. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
but
even
if anything,
Ian, this
if anything,
podcast,
Sancho
this
upgraded.
podcast
So
contributes Calvin. Wait, never mind. Wait, I thought we give you Calvin Phillips. We give Calvin Phillips to someone else, right? That was
Calvin Phillips is doing fine at Ipswich.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Lee, what's your read like on the topic of loan? What's your read on Leslie Oguchukwu?
inconsistent. Like he has spells where he looks like he's got all the tools to be like a real top defensive centre midfielder. Then other times he just looks clumsy and erratic, and he'll give the ball away easily. So like there's something there.
Didn't he score today?
No.
Wasn't there a Man City?
He got turned inside out on one of the goals.
Okay.
But no, he's got a real presence about him, and like I say, there's something in there when he does stuff that's good. But like the same for when we played Man United, like he looked really good. Right, he was really imposing in that centre midfield when the team was doing well. But then as soon as we dropped off, he really dropped off and got given the runaround in there. So he just needs to get his consistency levels up. I guess that's why he's on loan with us and not playing for you, because he's not as consistent as the guys you've got in that position.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair enough. But my point is, like, if you look at the table, there's 7 teams who've, within one win of each other. So
yeah, and one of them is Man United. So yeah,
and I was just no, you're just above that with 2 wins. And I was looking at I sometimes try to look at the expected points. You're actually one of the teams that's underperforming points the most. And it's the absolute inverse of Newcastle. In fact, you're higher than Newcastle when it comes to expected points.
Yeah, the problem with that is you can sort of
6.26.
you can
and
take
it's
that
just
on the
all
chin.
from the goal scoring point of view.
Yeah, you can take that on the chin for like a game or two, but after this many games, it's like, well, there's an issue there. There becomes a point when bad luck is actually not bad luck. It's and we all the forwards we signed, none of them are prolific goal scorers. Cameron Archer's only ever been good in the Championship. He's never been good in the Premier League, and he's the guy we signed to play as our 9, and then he got dropped today for an 18-year-old who ain't even a striker. Brereton Diaz, we signed him and then play him on the wing, and he's a centre forward. And I don't know. I don't know if the manager's got the tools to get someone scoring. We've got Adam Armstrong, who scored 20-something goals for us in the Championship and can't do it in the Premier League. So it's just like we need players that are going to score goals, and we just don't have that. We're toothless right now.
I think that's something that teams coming up from the Championship should know or should realize by now, that one of the things that can because you don't need to stay up in the Premier League, you probably need about 7 or 8 wins, and or maybe a little bit more than that, and so you need difference makers in front of goal.
Neil, help brother out. Help brother out. Which Chelsea players are available for loan in January that could help Southampton?
We have one. That's who I was asking about.
But like more than one, probably more than one, right?
I think the rules say you can only loan out one. So
Martin's trying to get you to break the rules.
But like a list that they can.
Yeah, see, this is what you do, Martin. You force us to break rules, and then you say we're cheaters.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying give them like a list of players. They could take someone from the list. Like who is available for loan? You think from Chelsea?
They already got one out on loan, so
okay.
They can't.
Okay.
Yeah. This is illegal.
Martin, do you have somebody to offer? Brendan Johnson, maybe? Brendan Johnson?
No.
They need a goal scorer.
Yeah, you don't think he's that good. Why don't you loan him out?
I can give you Richarlison. Richarlison, I can give you.
I'll take him right now.
Let's talk to another guy whose team was incapable of getting 3 points this weekend. And let's talk to Alex about Man City throwing away the title, but they always do it at this point of the year. They give other teams hopes. As this is the Man City rope-a-dope time. So what's up, fam? You have no Rodri, you have no De Bruyne, so fine. There's parts of every season where you don't have some De Bruyne and you still get to win the title anyway. But they had no Isaacs, they had Gordon playing center forward. And But you played at Newcastle, right? So what's your review on this situation? I don't think it's really a situation. It just is what it is. But go ahead.
Like I think we're in trouble. I know you're gonna laugh, but I think City's actually in trouble. Like I think Guardiola is basically like
In court or on the
no,
pitch?
that's not really like that's under the wraps. Like you like 2 weeks you'll see he's innocent, and you're gonna be like, how are these guys innocent? It's coming, man.
I won't say
letting you
how.
know.
I know exactly how you did it.
Well,
But...
no, but it's gonna like that we got that win, we got it. Like now our focus is into like winning against, if maybe go
Do you
win the
think
league
Pep
again.
is coaching your lawyers?
No, those players are coaching Pep. And every city conference, I not even joking. I think Pep actually got some like legal training. He's always giving like the correct answers, like the best way to avoid anything. I think he was basically coached or somebody must instruct him what not to say, but he's always kind of like giving the perfect answers, like almost like a robot.
He's highly
AI.
intelligent. He's highly intelligent. But go ahead, talk about the game. You said you think you're in trouble. Let's hear it.
It seems to me that we're in a position right now where obviously Rodri is huge for City. Like it's massive. We don't have anyone else, any other CDMs that can do what he does, and we're overcompensating by playing Kovacic, playing Gundogan in positions where we're trying to play two players to do what one player used to just by himself be able to do. Now we're playing two players, and also this game for some reason Guardiola decided to play Bernardo and Grealish, so that team just looked like basically looks super in control. We're in control, but there's nothing. No one's trying to do anything different. It was just recycle the ball. Like Kovacic has the ball, plays Grealish, he plays the ball through. The only difference was like once in a while Ederson was doing like a long ball to Haaland, and then Haaland would play Grealish, and Grealish goes back, and I'm like, guys, like we need something different. Like it's just not gonna work. Or I hope something changes. I don't know if maybe Sabino or Doku were injured or Foden was like needed some rest.
He took them off the bench.
Yeah, he took him
Savino
on the bench, but within minutes left.
And Grealish created your assist to Vardy.
That was, I wouldn't really. I mean, I guess that was an assist, but that's just one of those things that I think it was more of a merit of Guardiola for doing something different. Him doing like, I'm gonna do a run, see what happens. But most of the game, it was just City not really offering, and nobody was offering anything. Just them trying to. I don't know, man. It frustrates me because I think like every time we don't have a different like a player like Foden, De Bruyne, Rodri, somebody's trying to break the line, trying to do something different. It's just so we just look super in control, where we might win the game, but it's just if the position is playing good defense, we look like okay. It looks like we don't have answers in the field.
Me and Lee think you're just whining about nothing right now. That's all. That's coming across. This is like it's like some rich girl
Lee's the most
complaining that they didn't have the best wine.
Lee is the most neutral fan in the UK. He's gonna give you like an answer, tactical answer. He's like analyze the game, and I saw. Go ahead, Lee.
But do you miss Alvarez? Do you miss Alvarez? You think that you miss that player from last year?
Bro, no. I mean, maybe it's a hard. If no one gets injured, probably we don't miss him. Like I don't think he cracks 11. If all the City players are their top form and we have everyone.
He had numbers last year. He had numbers.
But I think for right now, like especially when you're like you look at the bench and there's 10 minutes left, and they're like, okay, what do we do now? It's like, oh, maybe throw Stones, because that's what they did against Arsenal. It's like, let's put our Stones on top and see if we can cross the ball, and maybe he scores, and he ended up scoring. That's like a team that is Guardiola team, right? It's like, oh, can put Stones and they score. And I'm like, oh, but we look so bad. Like we're not really creating chances.
Is that an honest assessment of that game stats wise? Like, Neil, could you look at the XG and the stats for that game? Because I think
I think we had up like 4 more shots on.
Like you shouldn't be on the same ledge as me and Lee. This is crazy. This is.
Also, how
It
is
seemed like a
losing
pretty low creativity game from both sides, actually.
Mm.
Go
I find
ahead.
it weird that you can have this squad that's been assembled so expensively, coached by one of the greatest managers ever, and losing one player is so pivotal to it. But I will say this now: I think he will play again this season. I think he'll be back in like February because he's gone and visited Pep's special doctors in Spain. He's going to get juiced up. He'll be back.
Shit, damn.
No, I think we're buying. I think we're buying someone in January. Like they're gonna go get someone. They should have done it probably in summer. Like Rodri baked them. Rodri's like Rodri. There's interviews of Rodri saying, "No, we cannot be playing so much. We need somebody. Like we need a replacement. We need players." And City's like, "Nope, we're not getting anyone, man. Just go in, you know."
Chris, you guys want
to bring Calvin Phillips back? Just actually don't bring him back. Like that's fine.
You guys want to talk? What's the biggest games next week? Because next week is the
Can I add
last.
something?
Go ahead.
It bridges City and my team. Because we had this little chat, me and Lee, we like sometimes to be funny with each other about our teams on the chat, and he said, congratulations for not winning the trophy because you drew City in the cup. But now when we had this conversation, I'm thinking, first of all, I made an counter argument that actually City is one of the teams, the only team at the top that we consistently beat every year pretty much. But we also lose, but sometimes we beat more often than not. We never beat Chelsea, for example. This is our kryptonite. Chelsea usually beats us. And it's our unlucky team. The Man City from the top team is our lucky team. But what I'm trying to tell is this: because of the fact that there's no Alvarez now, there's no Rodri. If City don't play their best players against us, I think we have a pretty good chance to actually beat them in the cup. I would bet that we will probably beat them in the cup.
I will bet that too. Just given the Guardiola just said that they're in Carabao Cup, he's gonna play almost the same lineup as last time, which was like 4 academy players, and so I don't expect Guardiola to go out and trying to win the game. It will surprise me. I think he's trying just to get eliminated and move on.
Okay. Cool.
So let's hope Spurs can win a game that's given to them. Let's hope they don't choke.
That's a lot.
They might.
Don't you can like if Pep is trying to Spurs this up, don't out Spurs Pep, please. I'm trying to look at all the biggest. What's the biggest games next weekend? It might be.
Isn't the Champions
Villa.
League week too?
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. I just want to just finish up in the Premier League. It might be Aston Villa United, and I don't even want to talk about that. So is there anybody want to talk about
Brighton Tottenham?
Brighton Tottenham? Yeah, Martin, what do you feel about your chances about that? Martin.
Yes, had to connect my computer. My chances again. Sorry, one more time.
Brighton.
At home.
Yeah. At Brighton.
Mm.
Tricky
Can
game.
I just say I don't believe in Brighton, bro?
They're tricky. They're like one of those yo-yo teams. They can show up or they can completely not show up. It's a tricky team to play. Same with Bournemouth. I say Brighton, Bournemouth, and Wolves. Those are like 3 tricky teams. So it's a test for us. Like I said at the beginning, when I was mentioning the United game, is it a fluke, one great game, or is it the start of something more serious? If it's the start of something more serious, we have to show up and beat Brighton. If it's a fluke, we're gonna, probably lose points. So that's a good test for our team.
Martin, does Postecoglou keep his job if he doesn't get top 4 this season?
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, there are different standards. The different standards for us. For us, top 4 is like winning a title. So if we play well and we build and our players develop, he still should stay.
Yeah. Neil, it's a different standard. Like if Levy can get a Shakira and the Taylor Swift concert in the stadium in a year,
that's the title.
Postecoglou's fine. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. The money from that will keep them all afloat. I think for
you guys finished 5th last season, right? So
yeah,
I think for any sort of progress, it should be the next level should be Champions League football, right?
It should be, although some teams underperformed last year, so we'll see. Because some teams underperformed last year. It was a fluke year for your team. Right now, you're in the game for top four. Man U were bad last year, kind of. They're still bad, but maybe they'll fire. New coach comes. If it's someone like Zidane, they probably will play better. If that's
Southgate.
Huh?
It'll be
That's
Southgate, not
Southgate.
Zidane.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Southgate. Then maybe
Southgate didn't Southgate play for Southampton?
Yeah. No, for Tottenham.
No, he
Yeah,
played for
he
No,
played for
Middlesbrough,
Palace
right?
and Villa. He
Aston
played for
Villa
Palace, Villa, Middlesbrough.
and
Okay,
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough, yeah.
I have a super quick question for the chat. 'Cause I think
Let me just
Arsenal's
say
gonna
one thing real quick about the Brighton game. Brighton didn't have two of their best defenders this week, so maybe that also affected them. So I don't know if those players are going to be available for next week. So that gives Tottenham a shot. Sorry, go ahead, fam.
I was really quickly gonna say that Arsenal scored another goal in the corner. I think like if Arsenal scores 20 more goals in the like from their corner piece they're doing, I think they're gonna change the rule. I don't think the league and FIFA and everyone they're gonna like basically this happening kind of like like in World Cups competition and stuff. I think like I don't see anything wrong, but I keep seeing hearing people that they're purposely blocking the goalie from moving or whatever. I think like if they continue doing so many goals, somebody might be like, oh, let's look into this.
Yeah,
because
it's almost like a cheat code for them. Like almost every game, they're scoring a goal off the corner, and I mean, it's obviously a great thing for a team to have such a cheat code, but it also kind of brings into question that you've had 5 years now with the team, huh? You haven't really built that many different avenues of getting goals, and you're going up against a Guardiola that is the goals master. So we'll see if this style of play actually gets them over the line.
I
Or
do think
everybody
they're gonna
would
score.
just
I do think they're gonna score 20 more goals from that corner piece. I think like it's such a good thing they're doing. I see them scoring. They might read the record 40 goals in the corners during the season with like all the competitions and stuff. No, not just the league, like every other competition.
I just think more teams would just try it. It's like, football has a copycat syndrome. If something's working, then everybody starts trying it. Like the one this week, it wasn't even the defender that did it. It was Trossard. I think the guy that's really killing everybody is Saka. That was another Saka corner. Was it? Was Saka take that
Don't
corner this
recall.
time? Yeah, but whoever can get the ball over the goalkeeper's head, over the first line of defense, and drop it right by the far post, like that's like the Rory Delap long throw person ability. Like it's not easy to cross a ball like
No,
that
it's
from
not.
with no run up space available. Like that's pretty crazy. So
Yeah, you gotta have the player who can put it in that area, and you still gotta have the player who can win the header successfully.
mhm.
And players who are subtle enough to do the block without getting pulled up for a foul. So yeah, I think if the people try and copy it, there's going to be a lot of messy copycats that just fuck it up.
Yeah, you need the players to do it.
Yeah, they either give away fouls or the delivery won't be right.
Yeah, but it's pretty. I mean, it's working so far. This one, I saw that was it Leicester? They tried to block the goal. They had people clogging that back post, like, and it just Trossard just shot. It deflected off Ndidi and then went in, which is almost justice because Ndidi got a deflected goal up the other end earlier to pull the game to, you know what I mean? And then Havertz was the one, the victim of that deflected goal. And Havertz gets his goal to be like, hey, like, let's scratch my record clear of goals for the day. Like, so yeah.
Shout out to James Justin for that finish though. The volley off the post was a hell of a strike.
World class, James Justin. World fucking class. So what's the Champions League status? Then we can go to like who's the big ones. What did you want to say about that, Neil?
The biggest one, I think.
Champions League. It's just so weird with this new format of the Champions League. Creeps me out.
Yeah. But no one cares about Man City against Slovan Bratislava. I mean, Celtic put it on Slovan Bratislava, so City can put their reserves out for that one and still beat them.
Arsenal PSG looks tasty.
Yeah.
Although I don't know, is PSG still as good anymore?
I would say like they're good, and I've seen some really exciting highlights. I've watched all the because I was curious, and I like Luis Enrique is a good coach, but something happened.
Barcola's been balling.
Barcola's been balling. The guy that they bought from the Spanish league is balling, but something happened with Dembele and the coach,
Griezmann.
and he's been excluded from the squad, and Dembele is key for them. So unless they make up tonight, somebody bring somebody flowers.
Did he wake up late here too? Like, did he spend all night playing PlayStation? That was the problem at Barcelona, right?
No, he's been playing good for PSG this season. He's probably leading them in goals and assists. He's been delivering. I think he even came off the bench this week and got a goal or an assist. But I don't know what happened between when they played this weekend and today. But he's not going to be playing tomorrow. He's not listed. So
yeah, Villa Bayern looks interesting as well. Be interesting to see what the gap standard wise is, because Bayern have been on one this season for the most part, although they did obviously struggle a bit against Leverkusen at the weekend.
As expected. What was the score of that game? Leverkusen Bayern
1-1.
1-1. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Leverkusen took the lead as well, so they had to come back at them.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, Aston Villa hasn't had a Champions League game at their ground in how long? And the first Champions League game, probably 40 years or some shit, maybe longer.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And it's Bayern. This is huge. Lloyd is going to this game tomorrow. His son is the lead up a play and can't go and wants to get out of the play to go.
Yeah, I'd put out that play.
Yeah. So
it's not tomorrow. It's the day after
Wednesday.
That
Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to discuss that, but I would figure that Bayern is going to pull this out. But Villa's tough, man. I want Villa to get softened up by Bayern to give us a chance and Ten Hag a chance to beat them on the weekend. Just tenderize these fools for us, Bayern. Like batter them physically, emotionally, and mentally, so that they'll be easier for us to play. But that's huge. Maybe if Villa wins, they'll be so I feel like Villa winning and beating Bayern is better for us. Because it's like you just might not show up on the weekend because you just had such a party, So I'm rooting for Villa. You want to do fantasy league?
Yeah, let's get into that because that's the only thing I can brag about this week.
Yeah,
Martin all of a sudden got to go.
Yeah, because I mean, Martin played his wild card this week, and when you play your wild card, you need to deliver. So the week I played my wild card, I got 89 points. Martin played his wild card this week and got 46 points.
You know why? Because I played 2 Southampton players. I don't know what I was thinking.
I told you that. I told you that. I'm a Southampton fan. And I don't have those players in my team. So, I've got Dibbling, but I benched him because I knew we were going to struggle today. So yeah, Martin messed up. I did pretty well. I had a good week. I had Adam Bumo, I had Palmer, I had Semenyo scored against us tonight. I had Watkins.
Damn.
So yeah, I did fairly good this week. I got 74 points, which is one of the higher ones. I've gone up to 6th in the league.
Oh shit.
So some big swings. Martin's down in 11th now, with his little 46 point total. He still had Watkins and Raul Jimenez though for goals, but just no one else. Although Van de Ven did okay for him. But Brian Avina, who's been top for the last few weeks, he dropped it this week. He's down a 2nd. Ahmad Zekri back up to number 1 because he triple captained Mo Salah, which is a bold call. But he picked up some other points with Rodgers and Bumo, Solanke. And Anderson got a clean sheet for Fulham. So yeah, Those guys are doing well in there.
All right, cool. Martin, man, you stink. As far as fantasy league is concerned, you're literally like
I
in
forgot
the
my
manu.
advice.
You're in
If you bring Southampton players, you will produce like Southampton.
but why do you have Southampton players? Like they're at
They
the.
were cheap. They were cheap. I needed some cheap players. Yeah.
All right, I guess. Why do you, that's when you got to just
I know.
cheat like Man City and take the fine and just play players
I
you
wish
can't
that was the
afford.
option. I wish I could Chelsea fantasy Premier League, you know, but ain't fantasy on fantasy league. I'll tell you that.
It's hilarious. They should have the fantasy league run the Premier League because apparently you can't cheat in that shit. All right.
Yeah, really quickly, and a question, because a bunch of people are asking, like everybody wants to find out if or like they're asking me like, why is Ian Edwards hanging out with Judd Apatow? Is he gonna be on a movie with him? And I was like, I cannot tell you. You'll hear that from him. I cannot review any team, but that's what I've been getting asked.
Being asked.
You worked with him on Crashing and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah. We worked together before. He's hired me before. He's also a comic, so there was a period. I mean, he doesn't do stand up as much as he did a few years ago before the pandemic. He was doing it heavy, so we'd be on the same shows at the store. And I've toured with him before. Judd Apatow.
Oh, Judd Apatow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went with him to a Charger game yesterday. So that.
Ooh, I don't even like. I'm just obliged to say that.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you're a fan. Oh shit! Why are you mad?
Yeah, I don't know. I just
they left.
It's just the vibe here, man. Like I don't even care about the team. I'm just obliged to say that. What you don't know where this podcast is gonna go, so you know.
Yeah, hilarious. So you just.
I don't want bumps at my door.
Yeah, it was funny because I wrote on social media that because of Man United results, I'm switching football teams, which was to go completely from soccer to goddamn NFL, and I go to a Chargers game, and the Chargers game lose, so I'm back to being a Man United fan. But the beautiful thing about yesterday is not just hanging out with Judd and Gabe and damn, why am I blanking? But it's fucking hilarious. Wayne Fetterman is I got to see Mahomes play. They played yeah, so it's good to see Mahomes play. Kansas City, yeah. And I realized.
By any chance, did you see that play when Mahomes injured his receiver and like his knee like Mahomes tried to get the ball back and hit him on the shoulder and he tear his ACL of his best receiver on the team.
I might have
by
missed
accident.
I might have missed that, but in my defense, they had the whole suite was catered, so I might have been grabbing some of the free shit at that point. So I might have missed that particular play. But I was talking to people, and Kansas City doesn't really blow people out. But they're 4-0 now, and I think Mahomes keeps games close so that it's practice for winning the Super Bowl, so he could just win every game last minute at the end. So it's like when you get to the Super Bowl, it's like, I've done this all season. So I don't think they've really blown anybody out. They've had a lot of close games with their 4-0, but he's getting practice to be clutch. So I got to see Mahomes play. That's good. Anything else we can cover on the pod, or do we do it all?
I want to shout out FK Zaljesnika, who I went and watched in the Bosnian League yesterday. They got a 1-0 win. It was a fun match day experience. Seeing the Bosnian hooligans setting off some fireworks and stuff. So, but yeah, it was an interesting game of football.
Was the stadium packed?
Nah, it was like half full. The weather wasn't great. But yeah, the ones that were there were intense because they were playing a team who are in the Bosnian League, but they consider themselves Croatian. So there was a lot of tension beyond football there.
Even I know what that means, and I've never been to either country.
Yeah.
That's bananas. Well, yeah, we had a full pod today. Martin's show pulled up.
Something.
Go ahead.
rumor for us, Los Angelinos, because Griezmann said that he's going to join MLS next year, and everybody's talking about that he will come to LAFC to play with Giroud and our former goalkeeper. Now I'm blanking. Tottenham goalkeeper for many years.
Lloris.
Hugo Lloris, Giroud, and Griezmann. That they'll play next season together.
France World Cup team.
Yep.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Griezmann. He retired internationally, so good for him. And he got a point yesterday with Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid in the Madrid derby.
the game that had to get stopped for a little bit
because the fans were throwing coins or lighters.
Apparently they threw a bag of shit at Courtois as well.
Oh yeah, he had it in the bag, and out of pocket.
Yeah.
And Barcelona lost. Barcelona lost. Hansi Flick switched up the team. He tried to rest Lamine Yamal and what's the homeboy from Leeds who's been playing phenomenal this year, like just to Rafinha, and it didn't work out, and they got slaughtered by Osasuna. But at least the players are rested a little bit, so that's good. You don't want to overplay a 17-year-old who played in the Euros, and so.
And Barcelona is doing very, very well. They play great football under Flick, but there's one guy that disappeared. When we talked about Rashford and Deli Alli, there's also a case for Ansu Fati. This guy kind of.
He almost.
Yeah.
I feel like they believe in him. He's been on the bench and he's been injured, and he was getting dressed to come into the game, but maybe they didn't bring him in. But we'll see this year. Like Barcelona plays so many young people. Like the team that they played didn't have Gavi. De Jong is still injured. Gavi is still injured. Their midfield, you won't even recognize these kids. And when I say they kids, if you think they're like Lamine Yamal's friends, like they're his age. Like their whole defense, Kubasi is like an 18-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so to not play two of your best players with those kids, like definitely interrupted the structure of the whole team. But they needed to rest them. But Barcelona is being forced to use their academy because they ain't got no cash. But they're at the top of the league, I think, still. Because they've won all their games except the one yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Lewandowski, 7 goals, best scorer in the league.
Yeah. I think that's it. We covered it all. I don't think it's going to be a podcast. There's a podcast next week, but maybe for the international break, we won't do one because I got to be in Canada to do Edmonton. And if there's an international break and I'm somewhere internationally, I might as well take an international break too. You feel me? Fuck it. So there'll be one next week, but maybe not the week after. But yeah, Alex, thanks for joining. Martin, good seeing you. Congrats, goddamn son of a bitch. It's good seeing you. Neil, I'm glad you're happy. Great Chelsea shirt you got on. Happy birthday, Lee. Sorry to
happy birthday, Lee.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Happy birthday, fam. Didn't go your way. And we love you all. Be good.
Be careful with the rakia in Bosnia.
What's that?
The name of your ex-girlfriend?
60%. The local.
He's talking about booze.
Oh, with her for
sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
I've been sticking to the beer. It's all good.
All right, y'all. 1.